The new climate minister, Guilbeault, has been campaigning against nuclear energy for all of his career as an environmentalist for 25 years, 30 years. He's staged numerous events against nuclear energy, spoken out against it repeatedly, wants Canada to get rid of nuclear energy, which has been identified by Alberta and other provinces through the small modular reactor program as a great way to combat climate change. What do you think of Mr. Guilbeault's long-term opposition to nuclear power, and how might that impact Canada's efforts to cut emissions?
I think it highlights the gross hypocrisy of the radical green left, who claim that there is a climate emergency, but oppose the single technology which could most dramatically reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and that is nuclear power. It is ridiculous when you see governments around the world preaching climate purity, like Germany, that have shut down their nuclear plants to reopen coal plants. This is the hypocrisy of Mr. Guilbeault and many others. And so, Alberta has never had traditionally the population scale, and we've had abundance of other forms of energy, so we never did traditional 1970s style nuclear plants here. But we are keenly interested in the prospect of small modular reactors for industrial and local applications. And we want to be leaders on that front. Let me point out, though, that Mr. Guilbeault and many of his fellow travelers aren't just opposed to proven technologies that can radically reduce GHG emissions like nuclear. They also generally oppose all of the green technologies that can help us to reduce emissions right now. Technologies like hydrogen, so-called blue hydrogen, technologies like carbon capture, utilization, and storage, technologies policies like exporting liquefied natural gas. We think that Mr. Guilbeault and Mr. Trudeau should be in Glasgow right now, calling on their fellow governments around the world to give Canada credit under Article 5 of the Paris Agreement for helping to reduce global greenhouse gas emissions through any incremental exports of liquefied natural gas. By getting more Canadian natural gas to global markets, we can reduce coal-fired electricity in Asia and elsewhere. That's the kind of thing that represents real progress on the climate. Unfortunately, what we have heard in the past from Mr. Guilbeault and others like him is opposition to all of those things: nuclear, hydrogen, CCUS, and liquefied natural gas. Their approach seems to be, well, it's totally unrealistic, and their approach, if they were to actually achieve their targets without using these transition technologies, would be devastating to the entire global economy.